Frigid Nut here as always. Continuing on with some more Limbus company. All right. Oh yeah, that's right. It was the sinking team that I was making use of. There we go. Maximum returns. Alright, yeah. A lot of thread grinding to do. Well, among other grinding. Once we dealt with the Falvis who invaded the Thumb Father's quarter, we left for the indexes. We ran into a few familiar faces waiting for us at our destination. Huh? Don't you guys have today off? Yeah, but I thought I might as well come along. It's, you know, you keep summoning us while we're in the middle of something, so I decided that it might actually be more convenient for us to be with you in person. Your summoning occurred at the most unideal moment. Now I know you weren't doing it on purpose, but all three times you summoned me, I was leaning over the snacks. Oh, no, I know you weren't doing it on purpose, but all three times you summoned me, I was leaning over a snack topped with a bunch of whipped cream. Today I learned that blacking out and waking up to a meat-shaped indent on a cake I was about to chow down doesn't make for a very relaxing break. Sorry about that. I should have checked in with you guys before summoning, but I'm still getting used to it. Okay, now you're being too sorry. No hard feelings here, you know. I'm tagging along because I need some exercise, that's all. I appreciate the additional employee assignments. If you could share any information you know about yet another corridor. I hang out here all the time, so I know this place a little. There was this super clingy, annoying little. No, that wasn't the masked dude. There's this other. Is there something you don't remember? Oh, right. Kier probably doesn't remember Sora. Sora? I don't think that name rings any bells for us either. Is that someone who used to live here? Yeah, well, Sora was the Index Apprentice, so she probably lived here. Forsooth, the Index Apprentice! Oh, righto, wherefore is it that the middle of the thumb and the ring each have apprentices, yet the index of the pinky lack them? It would indeed be quite odd if a mere 3 of the 5 fingers kept an apprentice each. We trace a my recollections, yet I find it like following a trail of odorless air, invisible and unreal. No, there was someone, but I can't. The representations of the Pinky and Index's apprentices are missing. No, to be more precise, a merciless blade was shredded and has shredded and reduced them to intangible formlessness. How refreshing to hear that same impression from someone else rather than myself for once. As it seemed that I was the only one who remembered the 2 apprentices, I retraced back to our first meeting and briefly shared what I knew about Sora. Huh? She doesn't sound like a very forgettable character. Well, the Arayashiki cut her into ribbons. That would explain why it feels as though I'm recalling a sequence of events with a critical part missing in between. I can almost imagine her giggling to herself like a creepy loner, and she probably wears glasses too, right? Like one of those gloomy introverts from an anime? I see, so that's why it feels like a tearing through each... that's what it feels like. Oh, so that's why it feels like I'm tearing through each strand of a weave. Yoshu? Say the world's made of strings or threads, Clock. With every slash, this blade would be cutting through the flow of strands that twine to compose one's existence. when an object is severed forever beyond repair, you'd think neither trace nor shape would be left of it. What was that image that just flashed on the screen? Now that you've pieced some of it together, it's almost... Instead of elaborating further, Ryoshu fell silent again, save for the sound of the tip of her cigarette turning to ash. Like she's recalling another incomplete memory. If she's trying to avoid over-speculating on what she doesn't know for sure. Damn, that totally breaks the meta. I had a vague idea of how it works, but this is the first time I'm hearing the deets. Papa had to go through 4 ramp-up stages and remove seals to, like, even make full use of his sword. Honestly, yours needs a trade-off. Your sword totally power creeps Papa's. T.O.? There's plenty already. Oh, so true. Guess slicing your memories away is one hell of a trade-off. Sorry. Okay, so I guess you don't have anything to contribute for this corridor? I've got one. I don't know where it leads, but the index guy used it all the time. Hopefully it doesn't drop us into an army of indexes. It probably does. TPU, they really gather in big groups. She said, she said that's pretty unlikely. Oh, what was that for, Ryoshu? Wait, did you just hit me with that sword handle? I didn't do anything, but I saw it. Saw Ryoshu's scabbard, Araya suddenly jerking to the side, prodding Sinclair like he was annoyed by something. I won't STS. I'll... Silken can barely walk. I swear, this isn't a slander or whatever. Look, you poked me so hard it left a mark on my arm. Here. Well, I don't want to read too much into it, but the scabbard was rattling like it was irritated by something. Stop interpreting for her. This is why she won't stop making up these nonsense acronyms. He's making it worse. I gotta stop him from translating for her somehow. Araya? Wait, that voice just now, it sounded a lot like Araya's. Dante, you saw that too, right? Ryoshu didn't do anything. Wait, really? It really wasn't her? Nope. Yeah, that is decided. To be fair to Sinclair, no one else but I saw in full detail how the scabbard came to be. Which means that he couldn't imagine in his wildest dreams that the scabbard poked him of its own volition. It doesn't seem like any of the sinners heard that voice either. Damn, you guys bully him a lot, huh? Well, the law's been long overdue for a little smack upside his noggin. We should head inside. Let's not keep Alan waiting. Kier directed us toward an almost disturbingly normal wooden door, so featureless that it could have mistaken it for any of the dozens of doors we'd walked past in other nests. We were greeted by a whiff of stale, musty air the moment we walked through the door. I think this leads to a basement. And emerged to what appeared to be an almost dungeon-like basement area. Whenever the masked monk's beeper rang, he'd walk through this door. So, who are they? The Index. Signs of life. There were people living down here up until just a few hours ago. Why are you here, paper slips? We're only executing the prescript. I've had it with these prescripts, but at least yours don't make annoying beeps. The basement was stocked up with shelf-stable and non-perishable food. The cells were all completely empty, save for what looked like a makeshift bathroom in each of them. It is likely that this dungeon was used to imprison individuals of varying features that may be required to complete a prescript. Seriously? This room seems to have been used for something worse than simple incarceration. Among Faust's conjectures is that the captives were conditioned in body and mind in various ways to match the prescript's liking. Sounds like that guy was just as crazy as the rest of them. Wait, that staircase right there leads up. Let's check out what's... Freaking annoying, man. The heck are you doing? You cannot enter through this door. Oh, I see. Another griefer body blocking in the doorway. Move. I need to see something. The will of the prescript forbids you. You cannot enter through this door. What do we do? Is it worth forcing our way in there? And they seem pretty adamant about not letting us in. I'd prefer if we stayed as far away as possible from anything that has to do with the gods. I mean, prescripts. Why does she call them the gods? But nothing in this basement gives me any indication as to where the door connects to. Otis is right. We're gonna have to go get upstairs if we want to get an idea of where this door leads. If Reen's been using this basement, then I'd like to see what's upstairs. Honestly, learning that this door connects to some basement is more than enough intel to cross it off the list. Still, if this has anything to do with Ryoshi's memories. Alright then, let's push through. Executing your command, Executive Manager. The will of the prescript is absolute. Is it though? Okay, so that must be the image that flashed up on the screen. Yeah, the easiest way to deal with them is to just make sure that you win all the clashes against them. Which is probably why this is an unfocused battle. Okay. Yeah, the last time I did a mirror dungeon run, the final pack I selected was actually based on this intervello. Alright, there we go. Takes care of that one. Why are you whispering? Okay. Might as well just use the skill 3 then. But anyways, the easiest way to keep them from well, if you force them to to accumulate a lot of karmic consequence, which you can more or less do by forcing them to lose clashes. And if you force them to lose and if you can consistently get them to lose clashes, they won't stack up Grace the Prescript nearly as much, and will also stack up seems I spoke too soon. Nine ropes, Polar's light, coward, Shomyo, the gap between within and without. Huh? Measure technique, hollow purple. Oh. Oh, it makes more sense now. Do. There we go. Let's see here. Ah, dang. Hey, that should work, because that should keep any of them from clashing with Gregor. Let alone damaging him, for that matter. And that's one down. Well, would you look at that? Okay. I could work with that. Okay, so he's the one with karmic consequence now. Okay. I'll just attack someone else and... Huh? Oh yeah, that's right. Skill power -2. Oh.
당신 짝패군요. 속삭.
She's not bad relying just on her fists. Sure you need your blades unlocked there, Kira? Yeah, goody. And this one doesn't gather corpus ingredients, does it? No, it does not. Okay. Skill dealt HP or shield damage gained +5 corpus ingredient counts. Oh, okay. Because I was thinking it was weird that they had only one skill that seemed to do that. Seems I forgot about that.
회복 탄환을 쏠 거라면 미리 말해라.
We need a clash.
저번처럼 말 없이
Soon defeats enemy whose level is higher by 5 with
집으로 쳐내버릴지.
And their level is lower. Of course it is. Yeah, that's not likely to win the clash. Wait. There we go. That'll work.
아이씨, 짜증나게. 이게 힘이 됐나요?
Well, he's toast.
주먹과 피. 코코. 살고자 하는 모든 것들과 함께 무덤으로 돌아.
보여드려야겠군요. 왜냐면 예술을.
Okay. Not quite sure why it's using the, it's like the remix for, ordeals that the game sometimes uses. Hey dude, sorry for the distraction. Don't worry about it. Quite the screen name though.
당신 짝패군요.
Let's see. Hope your stream is going well so far. It is. making some good progress at,
혈관에 돋게
well, at getting all the,
나쁘지 않아요.
I don't know, tokens or whatever you want to call them.
것들 전부 녹여서 썰어버려도 상관없지.
Thread.
항상 저희 영감을 일깨워 주시는군요.
What's up there? You may speak to me casually, Araya, but in the presence of other apprentices, perhaps you should find it preferable to mimic the tone of the Daihui star. Come on, it's not like I wanted to be the Daihui star. Just let me do whatever I want while I'm here. Certainly, you have a point. So what's there? Up the stairs? I'm not sure myself. Never been upstairs. Aren't you even a little curious? Why bother peeling back the heavens to see what is beyond? Those wanting of yearning and needing to raise their heads skyward. Am I seeing Araya's memories? Clock, what did you see? I'm not sure, but now we've got another reason to check what's upstairs.
도박장죄로 의뢰를 냈다 싶더니 이렇게나 밑장 빼는 놈들이 한가득일 줄이야. 아, 한 달은 의뢰 없이 놀아도 되겠는데요? 사무소 놓았네.
Get the stuff that's really important. Yes, you heard that right. I don't consider this stuff important up here. Let's see, into oblivion in silence. Okay. Need some water. I'll be right back, though. Alright. You're violating our community guidelines, receiving 3 strikes within 90 days of engaging. Do you know violating our community guidelines, receiving 3 strikes within 90 days of engaging in severe immediate termination offenses? Key triggers including posting sexually explicit content, harassment, hate speech, dangerous acts, spam, deceptive practices, child sex violation, violating copyright policy. Yes, I know about that. Who doesn't? Yes, I know. Like I said, who with the YouTube channel doesn't know that? Yeah.
대도의 시간이군.
All right. That ain't good. That'll work. No, I was not aware of that. And like I said, I reported you to all relevant platforms. Did you really think I was bluffing? I settled with you long ago. I paid you everything I owe you, and yet you still keep harassing me, trying to get me to continue business with you. What part of "we are finished" do you not understand? Which, by the way, now this video will also act as official record for YouTube to use.
하고들 시간이다. 잔부에.
여기 득석이군.
아이씨, 짜증나게.
And what exactly else is there to pay you? That is all I was paying you for. course, you neglected to mention that the alleged promotion was really just view botting. Let's see. Okay, so they're targeting him. I didn't want to have to report you on every level, on every platform either. Uh-huh, sure. It's funny how the only thing you have to go off of for that is your word, nothing more. There is nothing left to settle. Folks, let this be a lesson. If someone tells you that the business is over, it's over. You don't keep harassing them to get them to cough up more money. Well, what kind of things you want to know about Kanto 9? Oh. There you go.
검날 내게 바쳐주지.
아이씨, 짜증나게.
Oh. Yeah. Raya really is a precious cinnamon roll.
내 작품에 의견이라도 있어?
Agreed. Okay, who's that? Yep. Well, which grandfather exactly? Let's see. Targeting Heathcliff. Oh. Well, he's not as manipulative as whoever gives him the prescripts. Which might actually be the city itself. Of course, considering the nature of the city... Oh, you gotta be kidding me. Alright then. He's constantly using emotional abuse tactics. True. Fingers crossed.
겁날. 내게 바쳐주지.
Prescripts do not control every word.
마지막으로 남긴
True.
당.
Great.
태어난 곳으로 돌아와라.
가만히 남았어도 이 정도쯤은
Oh, you gotta be kidding me! Well, eat this! He uses words to manipulate constantly. I have to go back to check the transcript.
여기서 쓰러진다면 날 얼마나 비웠겠나.
You have to retry this. Of course, the targeting Gregor. Also true. Really got screwed on the luck of the draw there. There, that's a bit more like it. So emotion acts the little girl made her act like her own grandmother. Yeah, pretty much. Don't let me even start on sore because holy hell. Yeah, the great, persuading someone to follow the will of the great magic beeper is not gonna be good for a person's mental well-being.
감상은 어떤가요?
And I get that, like, the prescripts are dictated by the will of the city, but kind of weird how, right, the whole thing of the city having a will, that I don't find weird. What I find weird is that the prescripts somehow always benefit the index, and that
아이씨, 짜증나게.
what was all of it? They somehow always benefit the index, as well as, well, I suppose not so much that the city has a will, but rather why it wants those various things to happen, and having one of the fingers act on its behalf like that. The whole thing's just weird. Crap. Just had to be read. It's a collective will of the city of thoughts and sounds of all the citizens. The city is its people. So it's kind of like a collective. So it's sort of like a collective unconscious. I mean, this game does have pretty heavy psychology. These games do have pretty heavy psychology themes, as well as religious ones, although those are more subtle.
겁날 내게 바쳐주지.
Also, I've played a lot of Persona, so probably also part of the reason my mind went there immediately. So that would explain, why exactly it would want those various things to happen, I guess.
왜 안에 갇혀 죽어라.
But then that kind of brings up the question, well, how is it that it always benefits the index?
아이씨, 짜증나게. 남았어도 이 정도쯤은.
여기 엽성이군. 예술적이네요.
Nathan Waits? Is that how you say your name? Prescript incomplete risk? Well, I'd say you ain't acting this turn, buddy. Hey, who's the target this time? Okay. That's one way to avoid want to avoid worrying about losing a clash. Or +7. That's how did that happen? Prescripts, I'm guessing. Oh, wait. Better idea. Okay, so... could still use some SP there. See, can we talk about how extremely messed with the Daihui's quarter had only one escape? I don't think I've gotten to that part yet, at least in the Intervello. I think it was that one. I'm on the index quarter right now for the Intervello. Plus, I should also note this. You know, this would be going through that Intervello for the first time. I haven't started on it on hard yet because I have to clear the whole thing first. No, I'm guessing that's probably the last one because I'm in the. I did the ring and the ring, middle, thumb, and I'm on the index right now. So pinky's the only one left. Nerf.
태어난 곳으로 돌아가라.
보여드려야겠군요. 왜냐면 예술을.
Alright. Alright, so now they're targeting Heathcliff. Good thing he's got plenty of... plenty of sanity already. Yeah. That'll probably be the only skill I need to use against that one. Probably. There we go.
겁날 내게 바쳐주지.
살고자 하는 모든 것들과 함께 무덤으로 돌아가라. 펜. 삼코.
You think I'm gonna let harassing me slide? Good grief. I feel like I get a moderator. Really not gonna really not gonna let it slide having someone posing as me commenting my streams either. Dude just will not take a hint. Yeah, in which case I could just contact Team YouTube through Twitter.
영감이 떠올랐어요. 아이씨, 짜증나게.
완성되었나? 목을 내놓고 있도록. 비뚤어졌구려.
Yeah, and I use your screenshots to report you. The ones where you threatened to dox me.
항상 저희 영감을 일깨워 주시는군요.
Yeah, and I could also just report to YouTube direct, and I could just contact YouTube right now. Come on. Good grief. Well, let down when they were body blocking the door like there's some big secret behind it. Alright, looks like any other average family home. Oh man, I get cleaning up is a chore, but people should at least dust their home once in a while. The thick layer of dust covering every surface of the blotchy wallpaper made it clear that no one's been living here for a good while. Whichever family lived here must have had a child. Look, there are drawings and dolls too. It seems like the place has been abandoned for quite a long time. Could something bad have happened here? Yeah, something must have happened in here that caused the family to flee, and they never got to return. Yeah, lots of evidence suggested that. The open door, the single shoe and just lying around. So someone fled from home for some reason, never to return. I don't know, it's kind of hard to narrow down the cause. It really could have been anything. Are you searching for something in particular, Ryoshu? Yes, but it doesn't seem to be here. Every framed photo is singed beyond recognition. Whatever documents there were have been torn to shreds. Kind of like my memories. So this wasn't where he escaped to, huh? The index nurse father, Ryan. Last time we saw him, he fled the house via the corridor after suffering a severe wound at Ryoshu's hand. If by some miracle he survived, there's a chance he'd come after Ryoshu again, but something about our last encounter led me to believe that it was the last time Ryoshu would ever see him. This is... Do you recognize this drawing? I found myself hoping to see Ryoshu piece together another memory. She'd been calling new details all day whenever something caught her attention. Sadly, she responded by softly shaking her head. No, I don't.
약지에 감긴 세 바퀴의 반지는 마에스트로가 되기 위해 인정받은 세 가지 작품을 뜻하죠. 비록 지금 제 작품이 만인의 신금을 울리지는 못하더라도 여전히 반지에 부끄럽지 않은 작품을 선보이고 있다.
Alright. Maybe try something a bit different. Nah.
전원 집합. 이번 작품에 대해 논의할 시간이다.
After leaving Ryan's quarters, we explored the Index's corridor for a while. I didn't find anything that could help piece Yoshi's memories back together. Great work. Now that leaves just the Pinky Nurse Father's corridor. That room didn't have any back doors for us to explore. There were countless more in the adjacent corridor, but our guideline makes it a bit difficult to delve into each and every one of them right away. Which means that our work here is done. Thank you for your assistance, Dante. Okay, glad we could help. Dante replies they're happy to have a bit of assistance. Well then, it's been a pleasure. After a brief round of handshakes, Alan returned into the forward base. Probably should have done the same, but... Want to take a look around here anyway? Sure. As we had more business here than simply checking the doors, we decided to stray a little longer and investigate the Pinky's corridor. Pinky Nurse Father's room had a peculiar structure. Each door we opened led to a room identical in shape to the previous one. Even though I was certain we'd traversed through quite a few rooms, we somehow found ourselves back at the starting point. There's some small design differences between each room that help to tell them apart, but it's difficult to tell which is which unless we look really hard at every detail. Where are we now? The kitchen? How do you know that? I've been here before. Someone ghosted me after promising to watch Fixer clips together, so I thought I'd come visit. It's someone y'all have met too. I think, it was, must be another one who was severed by the Ryashiki. Damn, you might be right. His name was Ren, the Pinky Apprentice. I tech-talked, but no one here really seemed to have anything to say to that. I suppose that only makes sense. After all, his existence registered to no one here but me. So, when he said back at K-Corp that you'd cooked before, you were talking about this, huh? Yep. We used to perform intense culinary artistry here. Your scabbard's shaking. The reviews were glowing. One of them was yum, meaning, yeah, unbelievably mouth-watering. The scabbard, alright, was defiantly shaking from side to side in a valiant effort to deny Ryoshu's claim. I had a hunch that was the case. Must have been pretty dang bad, huh? I'm having a hard time believing her, if you ask me. What did you usually make? Box lunch. Box lunch that kids might bring to grade school. Sausages cut like octopuses and tamagoyaki. That's simple to be intense culinary artistry, don't you think? IF. Didn't you know? There's nothing like a school lunchbox rivalry. So, I want octopus sausages, tamagoyaki, and... Are we making the sausages out of an octopus? No, I mean sausages cut like octopuses. And why are we cutting sausages into octopus shapes? Because it's adorbs, that's why! Bet that's a heck of a way to do it. Something like this? What? What's that? The sausage carved into an octopus shape. Didn't miss a single suction cup. Come on, I didn't mean like a real-life octopus. It's gotta be adorbs, Kay? Isn't all the SD once it goes down the gullet? Why is this so important? But, Mommy, there's nothing like a school lunchbox rivalry. IDU. Huh? You're doing your weird acronyms again, aren't you? That means I don't understand. That's when you say IDK, Mom. SMH. These must be some of the happiest memories of Yoshi and I shared. The sinners, me and Araya, even as a scabbard, could imagine or recall them in full. But for Ryoshu, the most important part of these memories remained sliced away. Still, if we can continue to piece more and more of her memories together by going over these places. You want to check out what's upstairs too? As soon as I asked, however, the sinner's footsteps came to a simultaneous stop. Wait. Hang on, Clawcut. Don't open the door just yet. I looked back and found Kieran and Heathcliff poised to fight, hands on their weapons. This way, manager. And Marisol, who realized what that indicated, yanked me to the back of the line. And in mere moments... So there was someone guiding those whelps. Figures they'd send more than fodder to the House of Spiders. Stinks of wet dog. Claws of a massive paw slashed through where we had just been standing. Wolf mask?
It really is, as Master Bedwell said. This place is already occupied. If you'd be so kind as to help me with directions. Is this where Master Callisto's art is located?
The question came from a woman who appeared from one of the doors that led to a different corridor. She was wearing a wolf mask, and unlike the Falvis we had encountered thus far, she seemed to make it a point to speak and act with decorum. But the subtle hint of violence in her voice quickly betrayed this air of faux civility. Sure at the right address, lady? Robo-Unk's stuff ain't in this part of the house. Find a different corridor.
Yes, I will. But my feel looking for his creations, which are easily mistaken for mass-produced garbage.
I could feel her intense gaze even through her even though her face was obscured by the mask. There was no doubt that her eyes were bearing down on Ryoshu. Hey kid, let's keep moving. I hope you never give up sooner. Because that username looks awfully familiar. Something's reminded of what Ryan said moments before he fled through the corridor. You let them observe us too freely. What? What is that? The Falvis got to confirm a lot of important intel, including the fact that... Whoa. Is that Roland the Great Nine Fixer that wanted to create Tempo Stream? The Falvis got to confirm a lot of important intel, including the fact that the House of Spiders is following that Ryoshu currently has possession of the Ryashiki. They want Ryoshu for themselves, whether she's completed or not. Ryoshu as she is now. Isn't that intriguing for once?
My name is Rufo.
Yoshihide, the blade coveted by the Five Fingers, Master Callisto's final and posthumous masterpiece. As a docent of Falvism, please allow me the honor of escorting you to our gallery. How about no? Do I want to? Don't see the point in hanging out with people in those unaesthetic AM. Guessing that's short for animal masks. As expected, Ryoshu declined Rufu's request with a curt reply. And Araya too rattled angrily in the docent's general direction. Then, I'm afraid might only be many options to rely on our usual method of ushering. How are our odds? Blech. I don't know, she's probably tougher than me at my maxed out stats. Really? The shape of her ring suggests that she is a docent of the school of Falvism. Position is comparable to that of a couple of the thumb or big sibling of the middle. Verily, that maketh her a foe who may surpass even Ricardo's might, or, with the stroke of ill fortune, even lay hung. Doubt she's anywhere near as strong as lay hung. But chances are... Oh, home. Half or more? I like those odds. Half or more. Dude, really? Outmoded has-been. Why seek out the art of has-been after all this time? It was a decision met with much confusion from the outset. To entrust such a momentous project in the hands of one such as Callisto, why, everyone agrees that it is no less foolish than casting a pearl before swine. Interesting use of phrase. Didn't exactly expect the ring, the artists of the ring to be the type to pick up a Bible. And they're quite on point with that assessment. In his ovary recovered from the house were more tools than art, the sort that the likes of workshop meisters might assemble. No self-respecting meister would create such mundanities and call them art. Now I must ask your forgiveness for presuming that you would be no different from the rest of his work. But what I observed above this room completely changed my perspective. The scorched corridor, the fertility with which you've scarred the walls and the floor, as though a frenzied beast had torn through them. There's but one tool that could possibly have left such marks behind. At least you've got a passable eye for art. Yoshihide, I ask you, have you ever considered pursuing art of a further elevated beauty? It will be an experience that departs from the dilapidated remnant and that dubs itself of corporism, a movement so constrained by its obsession with the human corpus that, once it had depleted all meaning it had to offer, it began piling on empty definitions onto itself. Taoism is a movement that has broken from the traditional world, unfettered like a beast that roams free. We dare ourselves to ask questions that challenge the mind. What is man? What is man? What are things? What does it mean to trace the origin? How do we define that which we call la fave, wild beast? These are the subject matters that have led us faves into the field of fertile creativity. Should you, wielder of that relic, enter the fold of our movement, it will layer your work with such an unrelenting spectrum of colors that it will be destined to leave an unforgettable impression in the annals of history. In other words, what we can offer you will be of much greater worth than what you may have learned from a teacher like Callisto. Never considered him my teacher. Not a real one, anyway. Finding beauty among the carnage of blood and flesh is a lesson I learned on my own. And yes, I know enough about your movement. Maybe I considered some of the works created by your school acceptable, at least among the ring's art, or not, I can't remember. Then, will you? But I don't know. I don't know what makes your art more elevated than the one I pursue. The one you pursue? Didn't the sights you claim to have seen clue you in? Oh, it did. I do understand. Your art may appear to be no more than unchecked chaos at a glance, but upon closer observation, reveals a fierce, dominant force that threads the entire scene together with its keenness as the connecting suture. Your blade work, too, shows such multi-layeredness. More keenness often entails mundanity, yet you have transcended such a limit by scorching the tail end of each slash. A truly unique aesthetic sense. I believe I've sufficiently understood the full extent of the artistic merit imbued in that scene. No, you didn't. Lesser painters like you are such mediocrities that they fail to recognize the beauty that lies in the grotesque. They do little beyond painting the hell reflected in their eyes and call that shallowness hell's beauty. Sorrow condensed into a cry held in an instant, wrath unbound from the yoke of reason, the fading gleam of despair in the hewn. You give no thought to what each of those emotions signifies, instead obsessing over the cursory qualities of what is beheld. Let me teach you otherwise. Pay attention, because it won't afford you another long-winded lesson. Yoshi readied her scabbard. Pointillists, Falvis, Suprematists, Blaurators, Cubists. I know what that one refers to. I've heard of Cubism before. Can't say I've heard of this movement. Of course, then again, I haven't much art movements or schools or the various art movements in schools are not something I'm terribly familiar with. I visited my share of the Rings galleries, heard their commentaries. None of them were to my liking. Your art is an overcomplicated pile of definitions buried under symbols caked in patchworks of empty shells. You and your art both talk too damn much. Just like Callisto's. Kept trying to take from other movements, forcing meaning where there was none. Excess is easy, anyone can do it. What's beyond most? Making it succinct. The art of abbreviation. Alas, if all is one by one abbreviated away, nothing remains in its absence, making the void left behind completely bereft of meaning. No, the void is what remains, and it holds things that can't be found anywhere else. What is this? A minimalist manifesto? No, my aesthetics go beyond the pursuit of simplicity. I pursue the natural germination of artistic immaculacy. A state of perfection wherein further abbreviation is an impossibility. Sangria. Bit abstract, isn't it? Too removed, too plain with a distinct lack of any meaningful, striking qualities. What exactly is it that elevates your art above that of Fauvism? Painters. We're the stubborn sort that mere words can't convince. Indeed, there's no discipline more subjective than that of art. Discourse concerning its nature may extend for days on end, but it will not change the fact that unseen arts are meaningless, pretentious illusions at the end of the day. Then I suppose I'll have to carve it right into your eyes. Please do, though I'm afraid it may be overshadowed by the sheer vibrancy of my aesthetics. I, a docent of La Fauvisme, shall personally welcome you to my critique session. Ah, yeah, that's right. She uses them as human shields. I just remembered that. Oh, furry. Furry. Let's see. Needs additional attack weight for that. Duly noted. Oh, good grief. Favored my ass. Let's try this again. I've got an idea. Freaking spam botters. Oh, great. At least their speed isn't particularly high. Ah, I would do it. Great. Hmm. There we go. That should do it.
점 찍었네.
아이씨, 짜증나게. 이 전투는 승리할 거예요.
There we go. I suppose the Blood Fiend identities would have been really effective for this.
합격장.
Alright. Yeah, that should do.
점 찍었네.
Oh, you've got to be kidding me!
짜증나게.
나쁘지 않아요.
I've already notified YouTube. That would explain it.
짜증나게.
Why are they starting with defense level up? You gotta be kidding me. Or not defense level up, offense level up. Actually, no. They have offense level up, but this... Those do not. Yeah.
감상은 어떤가요?
이 전투는 승리할 거예요.
아이씨, 짜증나게.
태어난 곳으로 돌아가라. 좋아, 코이코이.
Oh, he's gone.
삼코.
바이올렛, 브레이크 슬랩.
Oh, looks like you're running out of meat shields there, Rufo.
관람 중에는 정수.
Huh.
당신 짝패군요.
Yeah, must have racked up a few kills.
살고자 하는 모든 것들과 함께 무덤으로 돌아가라.
여기가
이제 한 사람의 상황을 보이고 24개의 늑골이 자아내는 티리아의 멜로디가
Rather funny how much of a number corporism is going to end up doing against her.
방심의
Pointillism too.
아이씨, 짜증나게.
I have to admit though, I'm really curious to see if some of the other schools of the ring are going to be incorporated into the game, because I'm curious how they're going to work from a gameplay standpoint.
바이올렛, 브레이크 슬랩.
No one could say what you will about her sense of aesthetics, but this background music, this boss fight track is pretty awesome. Very classical and sophisticated, and yet feels very fierce and intense. Oh shoot, she's not fast enough. Okay, so gonna have to let those ones pass through. Huh? That'll do it. Minus 10% damage. Yeah, Faust is gonna need that.
아이씨, 짜증나게.
퇴장 시간이 되었답니다. 그럼 안녕히.
항상 저희 영감을 일깨워 주시는군요.
Huh?
합격장.
What's with that weird skull icon?
너를 잊어도 반드시 되찾을 거다.
파우스트, 신체파의 예술을 보여줄 시간이랍니다.
It's all the protection she's got.
보여드려야겠군요. 왜냐면 예술을.
Huh. It took a lot longer than that for her to lose it when I went up against her in the mirror dungeon. Huh? Okay. Don't get why, but okay. Okay. Time to hunt some nightmares. Or maybe it'd be a nightmarish hunt.
당신 짝해보면
Gotcha! Oh, you've got to be kidding me!
아이씨, 짜증나게.
거기서 지켜보시죠.
살고자 하는 모든 것들과 함께 무덤으로 돌아가라.
여기가 급속이군.
What's with that aura? Didn't think so. No, I don't like those odds. Crash power +6. Man.
목을 내놓고 있도록.
항상 지켜보고 있었지.
아이씨, 짜증나게.
Better not be bullshitting me there. There we go. Fingers crossed. Let's go for Faust.
목을 내놓고 있도록.
신체파의 예술을 보여줄 시간이랍니다.
저의 뼈로 크게 잡고 저의 살로 채운다. 외면의 예술. 아이씨, 짜증나게.
나의 늦고리차 안에는 티비아의 멜로디가.
Get him, Kira.
바이올렛 브레이크 슬랩.
예술적이네요.
Let's see. Base attack skills gain clash power or +1 and deal +10% damage. Oh, great. Alright then. Let's see, which one was it? Yeah, it's the back of the two. Alright.
감상은 어떤가요?
아이, 짜증나게.
이 전투는 승리할 거예요.
읽어줄까?
항상 지켜보고 있었지.
하나, 둘,
And that's the match.
약지에 감긴 세 바퀴의 반지는 마에스트로가 되기 위해 인정받은 세 가지 작품을 뜻하죠. 비록 지금 제 작품이 만인의 신금을 울리지는 못하더라도 여전히 반지에 부끄럽지 않은 작품을 선보이고 있는 것 같네요.
I don't think I want to know what he just did. See, you're already looking much better with those superfluous anal parts removed.
You're serious about finding your movement?
I already answered to that.
But you'll need time. Out of that fabulous thing, at least until you can fully cultivate your movement. Perhaps. But I suppose words have meaning now.
The docent raised her giant arm as though to strike us in her final act of defiance, and slammed it down upon the door we entered through instead. All I can do is...
All I could do is... buy time. For...
Mid-sentence, the docent suddenly went limp like a marionette whose strings were cut. Dead. And here I thought at least her last words were going to be succinct. Ah, thus we are made foes with yet another finger, the ring. That's not doom and gloom already, fellas. We beaten off the fingers all on our own for the first time, didn't we? I see this as a pretty definite win. All on your own, huh? Come on, bro. I was fighting my ass off out here. Herr Gregor has a point. The outcome of this battle would not have changed by a significant margin, even if you had not been here, Kira. This is more like it. We won't have to freak out over a mere BB anymore, as long as we're with Clock. Ha! Don't start congratulating yourselves for achieving the bare minimum. Those who celebrate over so small an occasion don't deserve to stand beside the executive managed. Well, I guess this isn't impressive at all to people who used to be much stronger, like Otis or Don Quixote. Prithee, speak not such folly, for the joy of my compatriots is mine own. Have you any inkling as to why she might have, in her final moments, elected to demolish the door? Right? It's not like we have a shortage of doors in here. Are we really debating the logical thought process of someone who is 2 seconds away from dropping dead? Come on, let's get out of here so we can bring everyone else up to date. Didn't I just leave this room? Ishmael walked out through the door we'd entered through and appeared from behind us. Oh shit, where'd the exit go? Don't tell me the exit changes every time someone walks through it. No, can't be that easy. I am barred from enjoying the fresh air of the world outside. No longer free to travel the mountains and cliffs as my feet would carry me, as the other members of the Pinky are. I wish to no avail that I should be allowed to weave the delineations of wings and back streets. Ha. So this is what she meant. The back door through which we traversed is a passage to the corridor of the one called the Index Nurse Father. Across the broken door we might, however, it avails us but a brief jaunt to the Pinky Nurse Father's azure corridor before it returns us to this room. The room's now locked in a loop without a starting point. Won't matter what door we open. Is there anything we can do? The rescue team will arrive in time. As this location adheres to the regular flow of time, unlike the warp trains, it will be approximately between a week or two from the present before we can return. That's pretty long. Well, the first one we're going to have to deal with is food. As far as I'm aware, we should be good to go for at least 3 days. Thanks, Rhodia. So let's... I didn't bring any snacks. It's not like we were about to walk into one of the L Corp branches or in a dungeon, so... Yeah, Makes sense. Looks like we're gonna have to give this room a thorough search then. No need. There's no exit. We cut open our own. What about the part where it cuts into your memories too? Deal with that yet? No, the sword, it still cleaves my memories with every slash. Don't know what memory it'll slice away this time, but it'll be something recent, or one I hold dear. Oi, wait! Don't be so bloody rash about it! Other than me, no one but Heathcliff still remembers the person he holds in the living depths of his heart. Ever since the day of the Sepia Tempest, memory took on a special precious meaning to Heathcliff. Heathcliff suddenly reached out and grabbed Ryoshu's arm. Though Ryoshu and Heathcliff's circumstances were undoubtedly different from each other, it's clear that Ryoshu's reckless attitude towards sacrificing her own memories triggered a sort of anxiety in Heathcliff. What? Did you hear it? Them nerds will be here in a week or two to get us out. Why don't we just keep the sword nice on that scout and wait it out? The radio doesn't work. What if we went up to the rooftop and entered one of those doors up there? There are thousands of them. Out of the question. By doing so, we'll be putting ourselves at a greater risk, that of casting ourselves into the endless maze that is the corridor. Okay, but we're dead meat if that brick wall of a maestro wanders right into this room. That wolf lady's last words. Man, I'm seeing the flags. It's a hell of a risky move, yeah, but I think Yoshihide and her OP sword are our best bet. What? What if we get lucky and find us in a day or two? Quit freaking out, HC. Only be forgotten, not lost. Well, good memories don't tend to last very long. It's been a fun excursion, Clock. I'm gonna look toward the scabbard, expecting it to rattle violently as it did earlier, but it remains still. White blade soon reveals itself. It cuts across the wall where the door used to be. And naturally, as the Ryoshiki's blade cleaves through the wall, so does it Ryoshu's memories. We're really getting somewhere. The thin strands of Raya's image, which had begun to coalesce, slowly unraveled and fell apart once again. Even still, Araya released the blade without hesitation. But it's okay. We'll try again, so... Conveying no resentment, no hatred, but a few words of consolation. Don't feel too bad. As her voice faded into the gentle dark with Ryoshu's memories. Ah, welcome back. Question. What exactly was the point of verifying every back door within the House of Spiders? Oh, Hohenheim didn't fill you in? Any information regarding these doors holds an enormous value for us, not to mention that the higher-ups requesting us to reorganize the House of Spiders into a base of operations as soon as possible, even if we had to rush our work a little. Alright. Ah. Only speculating here, but I'm quite convinced that they're preparing for a conflict of sorts. These little pockets of absolute safety are extremely valuable during these operations, as you already know. Wait, stop right there. What? What conflict? What operation? Are you saying that your bosses are preparing for war or something? I just feel like there isn't enough alarm in his voice considering what he's saying. Preparing for what? Not even trying to hide it anymore, huh? Did I say something wrong? Must you ask to know? I thought everyone already knew. I mean, it's an open secret at this point. L Corp has already fallen. W Corp is teetering on the brink of collapse. You call us the Aspirant W Corp. We call Limbus the company the Aspirant L Corp, meaning we have a shared goal. But unlike the dead and gone L Corp, the current W Corp is still kicking, despite its rapid decline in recent years. And as we all know, companies of the city aren't worth much unless they've got the military force to back them, right? It's only natural that a business conflict would lead to a physical one as well. This is just a mere team leader speaking, though. Who knows what the higher-ups in our companies are thinking?
Either way, much fruitful collaboration was had today. This will reflect pretty well on our performance metrics. We didn't even suffer that many losses. I can safely say that you should expect a positive review from us regarding this collaboration.
After saying our farewells to Alan, we returned to the forward base and shared with Hohenheim everything that's happened so far. Hohenheim and Faust both did not seem willing to discuss the subject of the looming conflict, so we instead decided to have Ryoshu's memory and sword re-examined. Oi, Hohenheim, results out yet? Yet, Assistant. I clearly remember telling you 3 minutes ago that it would take about 20 more minutes. Have you forgotten already? Talks too much. Ryoshu sounded irritated as she scolded Heathcliff, but I could sense a definite undercurrent of anxiety from the way she kept puffing her cigarette to a stub at increasingly shorter intervals. This room might be more smoke than oxygen at this point. Mine's slowing down a tad. You're practically fumigating the room with cigarette smoke. Then speed up, glasses. I gotta bounce as soon as I hear the results. Both of you need to learn to respect the things that take time. Yes, time is indeed relative, but the fact that I've managed to complete an in-depth analysis of an item of such mystery in a single day is an incredibly fast turnaround. It therefore deserves your appreciation. I've been attempting to rein in the more self-indulgent part of myself as of late, but I believe this achievement deserves to be elaborated upon. It is an evident truth that such a result could not have been replicable had it not been for my genius brain. Go out to the hallways and grab any passing researcher and tell them about my incredible turnaround time. You'll hear them say, "Whoa, done already?" And to that, I will answer, evidently tired of the two students' alternating turns hounding him for results, Hohenheim seemed to speed up the analysis, and managed to hit the finish line much earlier than 20 minutes. Oh, done already? Yes, there are times when test results are extracted earlier than the predicted time frame. Many of those instances are easily attributed to my genius at work. Then why aren't you saying anything? Give me the TR right now. You didn't tell me to shut the hell up, so I'm attempting to observe the exact merits of doing precisely that. Ha! You think Yoshihiro would ever use a known acronym straight? What if it's something like, sheesh, that's a full day. Unwind after work, though. Is your verdict on her interpretation? That is exactly what I meant. She's better than MTL in some ways. How she lies as she breathes. At that moment, I might have caught a glimpse of this scabbard rattling slightly atop the examination device. Almost as though it were giggling. Very well, then I'll get right into it. First, the memory of the time she was complimented for her cooking has been erased. Huh? That's it? Hardly. Second, name has been erased from her memory. Do you recall the name of the man who works with Major Assad? Effie? I would have asked in the past tense had it been him who I was referring to. Glad Miss Assad wasn't here for that. That kid. Right, I don't remember his name. She forgot Pilot's name? Among other miscellaneous deleted memories are 172 hours of Don Quixote's tales of adventures and the types of food she fed to a seagull. Fie upon it! Dost thou say that that the memories most precious to young Yo should have been thrown into utter destruction? Look, Don Quixote, I'm not trying to be mean here, but that seems pretty acceptable, doesn't it? For the price of unsheathing a sword like that. We're going by sheer volume. I wouldn't quite say its mileage is acceptable. It erased several days' worth of memories just for a single swing, didn't it? I mean, yeah, but they kind of sound like inconsequential memories, don't they? Greg and Heath forget stuff all the time. How's this any different? The seemingly inconsequential nature of these particular memories weren't achieved by sheer luck. In fact, it seems to have been impacted by the scabbard of the Rayashiki, or to be more precise, the power of Araya's ego. That's so. Yoshi looked down at the scabbard with an uncertain, hollow look in her eyes. All that remains of Ryan of Yoshu's recollection is a blank space where the fragments of her existence used to be, severed and removed again. While it takes a rather significant amount of time, the scabbard seems to be, yes, capable of selecting which of Yoshi's memories are to be erased as a cost of using a Raishiki. Sounds like I should be grateful then. But Yoshi regards the scabbard with a conflicted look, as though to approximate the outlines of the void she left behind. Oh, so it's got like a cooldown timer? She could use it whatever as long as she gives it time to select the trivial memories? I wouldn't be so quick to dismiss them as trivial. The memory of the time when you were complimented for your cooking, it was quite a precious memory, wasn't it? You've performed an inverse calculation of the relic's cost. Yes, according to our measurements, the sword seems to factor in the weight of each memory when calculating the cost of wielding it. It's become rather clear that it takes more than light memories to properly wield it. So, have her memories been restored? As presumed, attempts to recall the erased beings in existence have resulted in failure. That is quite discouraging. But not all is lost. Simply by knowing that something used to be in that negative space, many things can still be reminisced upon. Like Yoshu said, forgotten but not lost. Clock just stepped foot into the world of Sangria. She flashes the briefest of smiles as scatters it away with a plume of cigarette smoke. Collecting the GB will restore it. What used to be here, in the pockets of void in my heart, I wanted only. Yoshi's gaze traced the invisible, the unperceivable. A few more days passed us by. We didn't spend those days idling. We visited Sod and Pilot Recovery, did a few odd jobs here and there, like helping suppress a distortion containment breach caused by a new LCE hire. With all the loose threads tied up, we managed to finally, after so long... Kinda feels like we're home again. We turned to the bus. Ah, bus, sweet bus. The chair could use a little more cushioning, but there isn't anything like it out there. Damn, this is your ride? Hella badass. Between the two individuals who were looking rather pleased at Kira's astonishment, Hohenheim squeezed through to warn us about some things to watch out for. As Team Leader Alan to set the coordinates somewhere as close as possible to the nest. Keep driving through the door, it will bring you right to an empty spot on the highway. Don't hesitate or hit the brakes, because if by any chance there's a car driving behind you, it will crash into the bus. So what did you do here on the bus? Decided to join the better team, did ya? I must admit to a certain degree of interest in hearing of your exploits, but to accompany you through them is an entirely different matter. It's an entirely different matter, isn't it? I'm only here to adjust your coordinates. Speaking of which, just how did you manage to escape your confinement? I told them I had some stuff to help you with, and they let me out after making me scribble over some docs. Solitary confinement's hella boring, so I thought I might get some air. Might as well say goodbye to two while I'm out and about, right? I see. You exploited the fact that the new hires don't have any grudges against you. I thought I told them to impress upon the new hires that prisoners are to be treated as exceptions to the right. The person in charge of that training is currently checked into the long-term recovery ward. More problems stemming from the shortage of manpower. I'd best include this in the report. Sounds like they're both here to see us go. Well then, time for a valediction, I suppose. Perhaps I've grown far too used to seeing your faces. Saying goodbye doesn't come out as easily as I expected it to. Another day of reunion was to wait in the future. I would appreciate if such a reunion had a low probability of occurring. Well, I'm not very partial to mathematical statistics, like the probability theory. Hope your prediction's dead right. Well then. Hey, Yoshihide! What? I wouldn't say we're family exactly, but... Listen, there's a lot of stuff I want to say to you, and a lot of stuff I want to hear from you, okay? So... I swear, see you later, I guess. Did I do that right? Acronymize it into L. They call me Yoshu, not Yoshihide. For the echoes of that name. The round of goodbyes, the two disembarked from the bus, and no sooner had the machinery clicked into place that the bus's wheels finally began to turn, bringing us closer and closer toward a blindingly radiant portal massive enough to engulf the bus whole. Well, off to our next destination, I guess. Oh, right. Where are we headed next? Dante inquires about the next destination, Virgilius. Oh, that's well, I like it. Been too bloody long since I heard that question. Yeah, don't get too excited. One has an answer to that question ever led us to anywhere that's not downright bizarre. Virgilius gave me a faint, knowing smile as though to confirm Ishmael's pessimistic remark, then delivered a comment that sounded too light-hearted for its gravity. Downright bizarre, is it? Well, let me just say that it's high time we face such a sight. Next destination is District 14. In other words, Manager Dante, we are now en route to N-Corp. So, we are going there after all. N-Corp. Plenty of faces there I'd rather not see. As the rest of the senators voiced their various gripes and discontent with N-Corp, Marisol, who probably had the most amount of history with the wing, simply flipped open his newspaper like usual and began reading it with the same unchanging expression. As though for him, none of this changed anything. Now departing. Vroom, vroom. With that, the bus resumed its journey to yet another tale. Huh? Huh? Wait. Oh, I guess there's no hard mode for this. Right then. Yeah, that would certainly maximize it. That would make for a bit of a short stream, but I figure I might as well call it here. Well, guess I'll raid Celestium. As always, folks, thank you for watching, and peace be with you.